Judge Philip Loubser has postponed closing arguments in the trial within a trial to determine whether the High Court in Bloemfontein has jurisdiction to hear the matter against Moradi Cholota. Now, she was former Free State Premier Ace Magashule's PA. Only 2 witnesses have been called by the state to give testimony over a 3-week period. Cholota's lawyer, Loyiso Makapela, arguing that there was no need to call on witnesses as the state had failed to demonstrate that the court does indeed have jurisdiction. Newzroom Afrika's Juniour Khumalo joins us now live for more. Junior, good afternoon to you. I wonder whether people who are watching the story, perhaps particularly people in the Free State who are still living with asbestos roofs, whether they are waiting for this trial within a trial to be dealt with so that we can move on to the main issue of that 255 million rand failed project.
Indeed, Michelle, the biggest question is when is that case going to start? As you may remember, this was a tender that was actually awarded as far back as 2014. But most of those 300,000 houses still remain with those asbestos roofs. So a lot of those individuals that live under those conditions are eagerly awaiting the real start of that main trial. This one, to them, I'm sure it was just another side distraction. But as you may remember, one of the other accused, Tulani Zulu, had also asked that the issue of jurisdiction over him should also be considered by Judge Loubser once he is done with dealing with the jurisdiction around the issue of Cholota. So we do expect that also to arise after this issue. He was a director at the National Human Settlements Department, and he is arguing that most of what he is accused of happened in Gauteng as well as KwaZulu-Natal. So this particular court does not have jurisdiction over him. But going back to that main asbestos trial, it has been actually postponed until the 4th of June because the judge had indicated that there is no particular need of having all 18 accused attending this trial within a trial as they had been doing for the past 2 weeks. So yesterday he had postponed that matter to the 4th of June. Coming to today's proceedings, the judge has actually postponed the matter until Monday so that the state as well as Makapela, who is Loyiso Makapela, who is the advocate representing Ms. Cholota, can get an opportunity basically to prepare their heads of arguments and then deliver those closing arguments. Only 2 witnesses had been called to the witness box, both of them Hawks investigating officers, Khaled as well as Herba. Ms. Cholota herself did not take to the witness box. There was that expectation that her legal representative might actually call her to the witness box as she had relied on the assumption that she was actually intimidated as well as tortured while she was in the US. But let me bring in the NPA national spokesperson. Mthunzi, thank you so much for joining us. When I spoke to you at the start of this trial within a trial, you were very confident that this is a case that the NPA, the state, is going to win and show that the judge and this court has jurisdiction. Are you still as confident?
We take the view that we've presented sufficient evidence from the 2 witnesses that will sustain a dismissal of the special plea, given the fact that we believe that we've proved beyond reasonable doubt that the court has jurisdiction to try Ms. Cholota in respect of the offences for which she was extradited. She took a defensive strategy of closing her case without testifying, which we will argue that is fatal to her case. But let's wait for those arguments on Monday. But we're still of the firm view that this court cannot operate as a court of appeal or interfere with an extradition order of a foreign state. They should have exhausted the appeal processes within the United States of America, which they did not do.
We did hear Herba saying that they have sufficient evidence against Mr. Magashule. So even if Ms. Cholota was not charged or should these proceedings find that this court does not have jurisdiction over her, do you still think that there is a strong case against the rest of the accused?
We take the view that when prosecutors assessed that which was presented to them by the Hawks, they came to a conclusion that there's relevant and admissible evidence upon which a prosecution could be instituted, because there are prospects of success in that prosecution, and we still stand by that.
Okay. And just lastly, when this trial within a trial was happening, we heard evidence from Herba and Khaled, the misrepresentation that happened, the NPA, although being told by Cholota that she is willing to work with them, they still proceeded to get a warrant of arrest against her. How does that look to South Africans, the manner in which the prosecution conducted itself?
There's nothing untoward to what the two officers did. When you approach a witness or an individual for the purposes of getting information in order to use her as a witness, you always have that in your mind to say the person may either cooperate or not cooperate, or the person may give or not give what you hope that the person will give. And in this instance, she was not cooperating. And it did not prevent them legally from using whatever they have which implicates her to charge her.
Okay. Thank you so much. That is the NPA national spokesperson there, Michelle, just saying that there's not much that was untoward in the manner in which the Hawks as well as the NPA went about prosecuting basically this case. But we heard from Cholota's legal representative basically saying the contrary, saying that she was intimidated, she was tortured. The only reason that she was charged in this case is because she had failed to incriminate or incriminate her former boss, Ace Magashule, in this matter. This is when she was charged in September 2021, Michelle.
All right, Juniour Khumalo, thanks very much indeed. And yeah, as we said at the start of our discussion, we do look forward to the Asbestos case as well, taking center stage there.